Bad news, terrible news, unfortunate news. It has felt like the last few months, and maybe if you want to extend it further to the last few years, have just been filled with incredibly negative news stories. I hate covering them, but given this is my job, I need to focus on some of the biggest stories, and unfortunately they haven't always been positive. But when there is something positive to discuss, I love to talk about it. And for Boeing, well, they're currently transforming their business. And as a result of this, we saw former CEO Dave Calhoun depart, with Kelly Ortberg coming in. The newly appointed CEO faces quite an uphill battle to turn around the fortunes of this massive plane maker with a pretty esteemed history. Although we could say he wouldn't be the first person tasked with this. He, though, hopes to be the first to actually succeed, which is going to be a big role. Calhoun's tenure was a rough one. In fact, I think many people would be inclined to agree with that. He came in really at one of the lowest points the plane maker had seen in nearly its history. Following two devastating crashes, a pandemic, and much more, things just weren't going all that well. However, while his tenure seemed to progress in a positive manner, with slowly but surely improvements being seen, at least what we believed, at the beginning of 2024, it quickly showed how much just hadn't actually changed during what was meant to be a pivotal time. The door blowout really started it all, and then with further loose bolts being identified, quality issues coming to light, it really felt like the last 4 years, not a whole lot actually got done. Ortberg has now been selected as the successor. His role is an important one, and airlines, as you would expect, have begun meeting with him to discuss what the future looks like for producing aircraft, delivering them, and so much more. United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby, of course this being an airline that is one of Boeing's most important customers, had the chance in the last week to sit down with Ortberg to discuss the future of Boeing, something that is on the lips of so many. In a change of pace, Kirby actually highlighted that the conversations with the newly appointed head were incredibly encouraging and instilled confidence. Now, I totally get that you could probably put forward the argument that what else is he going to say, and through every leadership change, probably the same words were ushered, but you can't help but feel this is a little bit different. Many airlines around the world have lacked a lot of confidence in the product. You'd argue it's been at an all-time low, but Kirby reaffirmed his belief that Boeing is on track to recover under new leadership and following substantial investments in not just transforming the safety but also the culture. They're on the right pathway for the first time in so long. Furthermore, the United boss stated his belief that recovery will actually occur sooner than most people would imagine, as all the fundamental things to turn around Boeing are being implemented in a correct manner at the right time. Obviously, in terms of recovery, the only thing we can base on in recent history is that of the global pandemic, so it'll be interesting to see whether Kirby's predictions do hold up. He believes at least the appointment of Ortberg is a fantastic one, considering his close relationship with the aviation industry through previous roles. He has a fantastic understanding of what it means to be in this position. Ortberg's focus remains on the cultural change that needs to be made internally, which for all intensive purposes certainly seems to be one of the first executives to come out openly on a fresh, clean slate and actually state that this needs to change. They need to get back to their best, and understanding what's wrong with the culture, making sure everyone is transparent as possible, and taking the time to actually build aircraft in the best possible manner are all going to be important pillars of his tenure for however long that is. And Kirby says he's confident because he's had those discussions with Ortberg and they're incredibly positive. All of this is very different to what we've seen take place with, say, Emirates, who are still very much publicly criticizing the American plane maker, but positive comments such as these certainly may fill many with the confidence that they need to hopefully one day see Boeing right back at the top. I know that's something I'd love, and I'm sure you viewing as well. A competitive, safe, and efficient industry once and for all. Take care, be safe. Normal service will resume tomorrow, but I just wanted to take a look at some of these positive comments and get a gauge for how you feel on the appointment and the pathway forward.
And we'll fly.